On my resume, I change my previous job titles to popular names since I feel like it's easier for people to understand my work experience. Is there any problem with that? One example is I worked at a company where I had the job title IT Solutions Engineer/Analyst. My assumption is that most people probably wouldn't understand what that job title means. However, on my resume I changed my job title to just software developer. Since, my manager told me my role is to be a software developer like 100 times and just wanted me to do projects related to coding. Also, I feel like if a recruiter sees software developer then it's a lot more clear to them about what I did. If my previous job title is already a popular name I don't change it though. For example, my first job I had was data entry. I just leave the title data entry because I feel like pretty much everyone knows what that means. I feel like everyone pretty much knows what that type of job is.
Yeah, I don't see any issue with this. I feel like the point of your resume is they have, as Mark Levine said in the last interview, is they only looking at your resume for 5 to 7 seconds. So you need to put on titles that they recognize. So no ethical quandaries there. Just as long as you have a title and the description of what you did and your description matches the title, then that makes sense. I mean, I wouldn't do title inflation. Like it would be pretty bad to make yourself a CFO or a CEO if you were just a data entry person. But if you're changing your title to be something more recognizable, that you're just doing the recruiter a favor, and they're not going to just call up the other company and be like, "Hey, did you have this specific title?" And then your current employer will be like, "Oh no, he had this specific title, and he definitely didn't do anything that resembles that." They're not going to have those conversations. I don't. I mean, it's rare. I mean, maybe somebody knows somebody, but it's rare that they'll have that conversation. Um, somebody said, as with everything job related, the pearl clutching in this thread makes for great drama and poor advice. 90% of the battle in getting selected for that first interview is being an easy scan for an entry level recruiter who has often very little or no background in the roles they're recruiting. Again, you want to be recognizable. That means that folks with obvious title progression win out almost always. The folks here telling you that a recruiter should know what your titles mean haven't worked in recruiting, nor have they seen how often the initial screening job falls to the least experienced most put upon folks on a recruiting team. As both a former HR person and now as a high volume independent contractor, simplifying job titles in my resume has been a game changer in terms of getting that first initial look. I've gone through 2 dozen comprehensive reference and background checks in the last year and never had a single issue. That's because simplifying my titles had nothing to do with lying and everything to do with making HR's job easier. They recognize and reward that. So, simplify your title and list your job description below. And whenever your job description matches the title and is stuff that you actually did and can talk about in your interview, you're not going to have an issue. So, yes, there's no problem with this. I don't see anything wrong with it. But if you disagree with me, make sure to write in to Daniel at engringsuccess.com, Daniel at engineeringsuccess.com, or comment down below because commenting down below is the best thing you can do to help this
Thank you
show.
so much for
All right.
watching this segment of the Engineering Success Podcast. If you liked it, make sure to check out the other videos down below that are recommended to you. And if you really like the podcast, make sure to subscribe right down there in the middle. Really appreciate it. It's free to you and helps us a lot out. And last but not least, the best way to help the show grow is to comment down below. So leave your comment if you have any thoughts about this segment.
Chasing payments, still playing in the basement while I'm working on arrangements. They heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.